Welcome to this week's video. Today we're going to make a minimal poster design based on the cartoon Inside Out. If you have a look at the poster I've created, there's a couple of elements. First, we've got the background. We then have a typography title. We've got a drawing outline of Riley, the main character. And then I've drawn some graphic icons representing the other characters which go in the center of the poster. So to begin with, we are going to start by making a new document. File, New. Poster layout, and we'll leave that at A4 for now because I'll show you how to resize as you're working. So we now have a blank A4 page. Now what I've done on my poster layout is I've created many artboards underneath where I usually do all my work separately on different artboards. If you'd like to do that, you can zoom out your page using the artboard tool. You could draw different artboards underneath, and I find it's easier to organize my work and keep it in order. You can also use this tool to resize artboards, so if you want to make them longer, you can just drag them and move them around. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is draw the outline of Riley's head. So to do that, we're using the pen tool. Just make sure I've got no color fill, and I'll use a pink outline for this demonstration. So zoom in close enough to be able to get some good curves. And using the pen tool, draw all the way around the character to create the outline. Just remember to join your points at the end to create a closed shape. So once you've drawn the outline, you'll end up with an outline that looks like this. To flip it over, it's right-click, transform, reflect. And as long as you've got the preview button ticked, you'll be able to see the preview. Now the color fill for that, I've just filled that white, and I've made a gradient for the outline, so if I zoom in you can see it goes from pink, purple into blue. To create a gradient, you use the gradient editor. So if you don't have that window open, it's here in your window panel, window gradients, and that will show up there. So when you click on your gradients, or to change colors, obviously just double click in there and you can select your colors. If you'd like to add a color, you just put your mouse at the bottom of there and that'll add a little square, which allowing you to add more colors into your gradient. Once you're happy with that, you click on that button and that will add the gradient into your swatches. So if you have a look in my swatches, I will have a couple of gradients that I've already made. And that's our head. So going back to our page, the first thing we want to do is bring in our background. So File, Place, and bringing in my bouquet background. I made this background in Photoshop using an online tutorial, and I created a custom brush to create all the circles, and it's basically got a gradient overlay creating the effect. Now that I've got my background on, I can bring I'm just copying, so Command C, Command V to bring my head across. And once that's on, we can move to the next part, which is our typography. So using the text tool, just drawing a text box and typing in your text in the text box. And above here, you've got your main settings. So you can change your font, your size, you can align it. I've been using inside character here. I've been using this spacing to like separate out. Some fonts are very close together, so this creates some space in between the fonts. And then you can just fill your font. So I'm filling my font white. And to create all the different outlines, I just selected characters individually and changed the stroke color for each alphabet. The other thing I have done is increase the stroke size to create more predominant outlines. Once you're happy with your font, if you want to create the drop shadow, just click on your font, go to Effect, Stylize, and Drop Shadow. And if you click on Preview, once again, you can see the preview, and you can change settings here and experiment with them to make sure that you're happy with your drop shadow. But usually, if you have a busy background, like there's quite a lot of color on this background, it's quite important to have that drop shadow. So I'm just copying that across and pasting that onto my new layout. And that's my title. So now moving on to the next part, which is our little drawings of icons. So as you can see here, I've created a page where I've drawn a variety of icons on paper and taken photographs of them and then traced over it. So I'll show you how I've done that. So I usually have a blank artboard and I place my photograph on. So file, place, and grabbing my picture. Now I drew these all on one page so that I photographed it like that, but here I've cropped them up. So if you'd like to do that, you can click on it and just go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make, and that puts a mask on it, so which will allow you to, crop out the other images. Sometimes, I mean, obviously I just wanted this page to look neater, and that's why I did that. And once you've done that, you zoom in, and using your pen tool, again, it's just drawing around all the shapes. Now, you don't have to be a great drawer to do this. I find I'm actually not that good on paper, but once I start to digitize it, I can create the look and effect that I'd like to have. All right, and once you've got one outline, it's using your basic fill settings to fill it with color and to give it an outline if you need an outline. And I usually move my elements to the side and I keep drawing and placing them over. So if I have a look at the one that I've drawn here, that's what it looks like in final. You can see all the little parts of it that make up the character. Same with that one. When I click on it, you can see all my paths and everything I've drawn. And that was one of my favorite ones, the fear one. Okay, so that's how we're drawing some icons. Now, another thing you can see on my page is extra elements. If I find things in the symbol library, which you can access through here, so just clicking on there, you've got all your symbol libraries, and in here, you've got all your brush libraries. If I find something that I like, I tend to keep it here just in case I want to use it in my final layout. Now that I've got my characters drawn, I position them on. So I will copy that and put that onto my poster. And those are my final characters that go somewhere inside Riley's brain. Now, one of the things you can see I've done here is I've put the name of the character on paths. So I'll show you how to do that. I basically took a pen and drew the line that I was after. I click on the line and make sure that, it's just a plain black line. And then if you go to text and hold down to get the drop down menu, type on path, you can type straight on that. So discussed, and then you can edit your font and, pick a font that you'd like to use. Again, you can use these spacing settings here to spread your fonts out and make them fit the curve. Now, if you feel that you want to edit the curve, you can use the white mouse, click on your